The breath is one of the most powerful ways you can manipulate the state of your mind. And so our breath pattern is influencing our nervous system. So if you're breathing shallow, rapidly, short, then you're going to be operating in your sympathetic nervous system. And this is where the body is in stress mode. So fight or flight. We want to learn as humans to take ourselves out of this state because often we find ourselves in this state too many times with the world that we live in. The parasympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, is accessed through specific techniques such as breathing deeply, breathing into your belly, diaphragmatic breathing, and really manipulating the tempo and the caliber of your breath. And so a breathwork practice can be very powerful to unlock the parts of your body that are held in tension, which is where the breath won't be able to get to. And it's a way to begin to nuance and refine your breath. And through doing specific practices, you can influence the inner state of your mind. And so what I love most about the breathwork practice is it really helps to give you more energy. It floods the body with fresh oxygen. It expels all the stale carbon dioxide that you no longer need. And it really works with exercising your lungs. So it is an essential part of the yoga practice. So today I wanted to go through just a mini breathwork journey, as I like to call them, because they are journeys. They're journeys into your own mind. So to begin, you're just going to want to find a comfortable seat. So I have a few options that you can choose from depending on how open your hips are. And so if your hips are pretty tight and you know sitting on the floor is not an option, then you can sit in a simple yoga chair or any kind of firm chair surface. What you really want to be able to access is the space between your pubis and coccyx. So if you're sitting back on your tail and you can't get out of sitting back on your tail, this is where you would want to sit on a chair so that you can really be centered on your pelvic floor. This is where you want to learn to sit to have a posture that is really going to serve you. And so this is really option number one for you for this breathwork journey. The next thing that you can do is you can also sit in Virasana. I like to use a block for Virasana, and in Virasana, your knees are going to be all the way together and your heels will be on the outsides of your hips. When the heels are on the outsides of the hips, the feet come in so that the arch of the foot matches the arch of the butt. You are made with all of these beautiful fits in the body, and so Virasana can be a very nice way to work with some of these fits and to also be able to sit between your pubis and coccyx if sitting cross-legged is very hard. You just need to put up as much height as you need to sit here. So if you want to add another block, another bolster as you're sitting here, then that is totally fine. The third and final option that you can use for sitting is sitting cross-legged. Now, I always like to sit on a bolster because it gives you height on your hips so that your knees can come all the way on the ground. If one of your knees is lifted, you're going to start to feel pain and tension in that knee and in that hip because it starts to create stagnation. Your waters want to drain down, and so you want to set yourself up on a downhill slope so that all that energy can just flow downwards. Now, when you sit cross-legged, I really like to do an under the table lotus. So you just cross right at your ankles and then your feet will come back underneath. So your arches are under your hamstrings. And so this is my favorite way to sit. You can switch sides with your feet. I don't like to sit with one foot in front of the other because it creates, again, an imbalance in the hip. So choose how you would like to sit. And then let's go on this journey together. So when you come into a comfortable seat, in breath work, this is where you start to draw your attention inwards. Close your eyes. Take some deep breaths into your belly and just place your hands on your knees. And so as you inhale, fill your belly up with air and even take a hand on your belly. And feel the belly filling with air on the inhale and emptying out on the exhale. So your belly will fill on the inhale and go in on the exhale. And you just want to barely hear this breath. So this is not an ujjayi heat-creating breath. It's an oceanic breath. So you want to be able to hear it slightly so that this breath is soothing your own underground waters because your hearing is connected to your kidneys. Your kidneys are the water element of the body. It is your ancestry. It is where you came from. It is like this primordial sense of safety within your own body. And so as you breathe like this, what you're doing is you're now opening up your parasympathetic nervous system, relaxation, rest, where you can be more responsive to life rather than reactive. As you inhale and the belly fills, the pelvic floor is descending down, and the diaphragm that separates your lungs from your lower organs is also descending down. So as you breathe into the belly, breathe all the way up into the chest. And then as you exhale, the reverse is happening. The pelvic floor lifts up on the exhale, and the diaphragm lifts up on the exhale as all the air comes out. And to really feel this, push more air out than you think. Take a longer exhale than an inhale, and you'll feel that slight tightening, that slight lift. Now just keep your eyes closed and take a few more breaths like this. And now for the breathwork practice, we begin to alter this natural rate of breathing. So as you inhale, I want you to tip forward, whether you're on a chair, whether you're in Virasana or seated, tip forward so that you're more on your pubis and you have a big back bend on the front of your body. And then as you exhale, rock back onto your tail. And then just inhale forward and exhale back. Inhale forward and exhale back. Inhale forward and exhale back. And now you're speeding up the breath a little bit. You're creating a little bit of heat in your lower body. And so in every breathwork practice that I do, I like to start with this first dialogue, this first fire, this spark really of desire that lies at the base of your pelvic floor and your reproductive organs. And so as you inhale and tip forward and exhale, rock back, what you're really doing is you're creating heat in your lower body. And as it's the nature of heat to rise up, this heat begins to move up through you. And so as you rock back and forth, you're lighting this inner spark within your body, right? This inner fuel source that's going to give you the action that you need to move forward in life. And as you're rocking back and forth, you're also working in your hip joint. This joint is essential to increase fluidity, mobility, and agitation within so that it stays young, it stays mobile, right? Your lower body is all about your safety and your security. It is connected deeply with your kidneys. Your left kidney is your maternal root and your right kidney is your paternal root. So you get your kidneys from your parents. It is your prenatal chi. As you rock back and forth and back and forth, you're playing with the first fire in Taoism, this first cauldron, which again is this cauldron of desire. And so it's really the desire to come into the body, the desire to incarnate. As your soul descends and drops into the body and inhabits this form, it's the desire to wake up each day and get out of bed. And so it is where desire wells up from, and keep stoking this fire back and forth and back and forth. Keep your breath moving, so pay attention to your breath. And as you're staying with this movement and as you're staying with your breath, right, you're having a dialogue with your mind, body, and breath. The breath is the link between your mind and your body. And so first, you really have to learn the asana practice, the physical postures, so that you can open up your body enough to sit down and do this practice. And then as you're breathing in this practice, what you're doing is now you're clearing out, right? You're clearing out the dust and the cobwebs. You're sitting down and having a conversation with yourself. You're clearing your mind so that you can rest in the stillness and the silence that lies at the center of your heart. So go back and forth just for a little bit longer. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And I just want you to notice if you're going slow, start to speed it up now. If you're going really fast, start to slow it down. And so what you really want to do is you want to do something other than what you want to do, right? And so this practice is really to see where you like to go and then to give yourself a different experience. And so anytime you want to have a transcendental experience, all you have to do is transcend your frame of reference. If you're someone that likes to move through life quickly, see what it's like to slow it down. If you're someone that likes to be really slow through life, see what it feels like to speed it up. And in this way, you give yourself an experience you've never had before. Opportunities come your way that you've never seen before, right? And so it's only when we shift how we operate, how we navigate, how we are, that we get to have an experience that we've never had before. And so this practice ignites change because it asks you to move into the places that you don't go. Take a full breath in, fill yourself up, and pause for a moment. And as you exhale, let the breath go all the way down to your pelvic floor. And so you'll feel that lift the more you exhale. So push more air out, more air out, more air out. And then as you inhale, fill yourself up. And as you exhale, just let it go. And so just for a moment with your imagination, draw a line from the universe through your skull, through your throat, through your torso, through your perineum, and down into the center of the earth. Know that this line orients you. It is the central channel of you. It is what connects you to the cosmos above through your crown of your head, and the earth below through your pelvic floor. And so this is the great ridge pole, your Tai Chi, your Sutra Atman. It is the thread that is weaving all of your life. Know that everything in front of you is your future. It's where you're headed, and everything behind you is your memories. It's where you've been. When you place yourself in the center, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in the moment. In the moment is where everything happens. In the moment is where you have access to all of it. And so this practice is to really train you to reside in the present moment, to the air touching your skin, right, to the breath coming in and out of you, to the sensations that you're feeling in your body, and the thoughts that are floating through your mind. And now after working this first cauldron of the body, you're going to work the second cauldron. And so this is really the cauldron of community, right? Of your living quarters, of your heart, of how you go out into community and participate. And so it has everything to do with your arms, your hands, your heart, your lungs, your competency, your capacity, your ability to really be out there. So take your hands and make them shaped like fists and keep your elbows nice and high so that they're parallel with one another. So make sure one isn't wobbling down, right? Your elbows are the leveling tool for your kidneys. They're your equilibrium. And so you really want to know, right, when you're in equilibrium so that life doesn't keep knocking you over. As you inhale, you're going to open up your chest. And then as you exhale, you're going to curl into yourself. And then inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Just go back and forth for a moment. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And right away, you'll notice that this is a very different experience, right? Now, when you're working up in your upper body, you're no longer rolling up your sleeves and going down into the basement and dealing with your depths and your subconscious and your kidneys and your underground waters and these really soulful parts of you. When you come up and bring yourself into a higher atmosphere where you're working now, right, is communal. It is how you're participating in the world. It is how you're tending your home and your relationships. So the left hand handles the heart and your feelings and your home. It's really the inception and the innocence and everything that you heard when you were young, right? The vision or the version of love that you had access to in your upbringing. And the right arm, this is the hand that deals with the world. It is like your office, right? It is where you're shaking hands, where you are dealing with your business relationships, your obligations. And so really in this second part of the body, in this second heat source, this second fire, what you're learning to navigate is how much do I go into my home and how much do I go out into the world? Where is this balance between my work and my heart, my feelings? And so in the center, it's really you navigating your vehicle. It's really the center of the chest, the heart, which is paired with the thymus gland. You can think of it as the steering wheel of your vehicle. It's really you directing and steering the narrative of your life. And so when we're in center, we're really in the center of our universe when we're accessing this midpoint of the body. And so it's the center, right, between the left and the right. It's the center between the front and the back. It's the center between up and down. And so when you're in center, right, you are the eye of the storm. You are able to be in witness of life and not let life pull you away. And so it's really this perspective of self-responsibility, of knowing that you are the co-creator, of knowing that you can create any reality you desire, and to really know that the heart is meant to be the one that is leading your show. The heart is meant to direct the mind. The mind is not meant to direct the heart. And so as you inhale and exhale, check in with your arms. So keep them nice and high. If they've fallen down, lift them back up. This practice is to really develop your stamina, your endurance, your skill, your agility, right? It's upaya. Skillful means you're learning these techniques and these practices so you can become skillful at life. And so as you go back and forth, know that it's so much more than the posture. It's so much more than the breath. But first you have to know the posture and you have to know the breath to really be able to access and enable yourself to live life on your own terms. So go for just a little bit longer, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then fill yourself all the way up, open your chest. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Again, push all your air out nice and slow and controlled. And you'll feel that lift in your pelvic floor. You'll feel the lift in the diaphragm, this natural movement of the breath. And then when you're ready, take that inhale into your belly. Let that rise all the way up into your lungs, all the way up into your collarbones. And then as you exhale again, long and slow and controlled. And so as you go back and forth like this, with the quick breath, with the slow and deep breath, you are beginning to work your system a little bit. You're creating this tensile strength, this ability for your body to bounce back. And so it's not that you're always in a calm, still state. It's that when you work yourself up, can you wind yourself down at will? When you notice your body getting stressed in a situation, can you quickly come back to the breath and slow it down? So you place your body back in a state that it feels safe in rather than fearful. And so it's constant retraining. This practice requires vigilance. You're watching your mind and your thoughts. You're watching your reactions to the world, and you're changing it. You're choosing it. And so again, this first heat source of the body, this primal desire, this is like your first nature. First nature is not trained. It cries when it doesn't get what it wants, right? This is like a child. Second nature is the second heat source. This is the art of skill building, of learning a technique, of learning to read, of learning to write, of doing it again and again and again until you move into third nature, this third heat source, the third cauldron of the body, which is really your ability to have proficiency in the technique, to not have to think about the technique, to read a book and have an imagination and get something out of the book and receive your downloads and your insights. So third nature is really when you've mastered the technique and now it becomes a part of your life. And so to work this third heat source, take your hands and interlace them behind your head, kind of like headstand hands. Bring your elbows in nice and close initially, and then you're going to inhale, open up your whole front of your body, and then exhale, close into yourself. And then just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so now right away, you'll notice that this one's a little bit quicker. And so as we move this heat further up in the body, right, it requires a different kind of technique. So in the basement, when you're cold, when you haven't started your practices yet, you really start to slowly heat yourself up from the bottom. And then that heat rises. And so when you go up higher into the body, that heat has already started to penetrate to come into the top parts of the body. And so when you're in this third part of the body, you can call this the third floor of your body, your vision, right? It's you looking out. It's you having perspective. It's you really knowing that your perspective is yours and the world that you're seeing is colored by the perceptions that you hold. And that is why you cannot change the world. All you can do is go within and change yourself. And so a lot of this practice is to really start to see the beliefs that you hold. It's start to consider that maybe the beliefs could be up for debate if you truly want to change the lens in which you're viewing reality. And so you get to see it, right? See the world as you see it. And then if you don't like what you see, you have an opportunity to go within and to refine your lens, to clarify your lens. And so in Buddhism, this is what is known as the diamond eye, the third eye. It is your ability to reflect, to refract, to see many different angles in reality, to know that the different angles that you're seeing are merely your perception. And so again, when you want to change those angles, change the way you're headed, change the beliefs that you hold, go within, start cleaning out those lenses, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then again, as you're opening yourself up, right, with this heat, it's opening up the body. And so when the body gets rigid and hard, it is closer to death. When the body is soft and supple, it is closer to life. And so all of these practices are really to keep you mobile, to keep your body healthy, to keep you in a state that is, in a sense, unwinding time. That is really practices that support, right, the health of your body, that support you to age gracefully, that support you to live a good life so that you have more time for your practices, so that you have more time to reach your destination, so that you truly want to be in a body. Because if your body is falling apart, if your body is a pain to be inside of, then you're not going to want longevity. And so the baseline of these practices is how can you start to feel good in your body? What are the techniques and the tools that you can use? What do you have at your availability? And are these tools actually allowing you to feel better? Right? And so the proof is always in the pudding. The people that live the most joyful life have incredible practices. Learn from them. The people that have very mobile bodies, that are healthy, that are fit, that are agile, well into old age, learn from them because they're doing something that is working. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in, fill it up. Exhale, bring your hands down and let it go. And again, push all your air out nice and slow. When you feel that lift in your pelvic floor, right? Take a deep breath into the belly and feel that release. And slow the breath again, allowing the inhale to rise up the front of the body, bringing your whole front body forward as it leads you into the future. And the exhale anchoring you into your back body, right? The memories are what support the ways in which you move forward. The moment the back starts to run the front, though, and you get a hunchback, then the memories start to dictate the future. And so you really need to learn to position yourself well to keep yourself open and available to potential, to possibilities, so you stay in the spring of your life, in the spring of the year, into this openness, into this fertile expression, into the limitless. And so as you breathe in and out, just notice the thoughts moving through your mind. Maybe notice the stillness. Notice what is going on in your body. Notice the difference in the state of your being from the beginning of this short breathwork practice to the end. And just notice. And the more you reside within yourself, feeling your body, feeling what feels good, what gives you life, you'll notice what doesn't feel good and what is draining your life force. And then you can start to recalibrate your reality so you call in more that is uplifting, that is expanding, that is allowing you to feel that limitless, infinite energy, because you are infinite and you are limitless. It is the nature of the universe, and by being a part of this whole, it is the nature of you. So you can stay here for as long as you'd like, breathing like this. And then whenever you're ready, you can simply let your practice go.